Hello, welcome. Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to Call the AD, the Arthur and Dan show. This week, we're doing a bit of a state of our collections, something we've actually never done on the show. So, Dan, what's new in watches for you this week?
Not too much. I visited Bristol yesterday and I tried on the Tag Heuer, which I actually think is for a Tag Heuer, I really like it. I think it's really nice. Like a lot of their collection, like the F1 collection, it's not really for me. Obviously, I'm not saying it's a bad watch, but I just tried it on and I just thought it was really nice.
I do like the look of those.
Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. They've kind of gone back to what Autavia was meant to stand for, which is like automobile and aviation together. And I do see some pilot watch in that, I think. Definitely.
It's got like raised Arabic loomed numerals as well, which is really, really nice.
Cool.
What was quite interesting though is I asked them about the Isograph. Now I don't know if people know in here, they bought a watch out that looked pretty much identical to that, but it said Isograph where Autavia is, and they recalled them all, and it was because the silicone hairspring was becoming detached from a glue that they were using, or something along those lines, from my understanding. I said to the guy in there, I said, look, you know, if you decided to, some customer decided to keep that watch, then, you know, like if they were to come back and service it, would you still do it? I mean, how does that work?
Right.
And it's actually interesting because there was one customer that decided to keep theirs.
I didn't know they'd actually gone on sale. I thought they might have pulled them before that point.
Yeah, no, they did, because I actually saw them. I saw them for sale, and I did, you know, I saw it said Isograph on there. And he did say there was one customer that kept one, and if it came back for service, we would service it and leave it. So I wonder if there'll be any extra value to that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly probably a really rare watch at that point. Whether or not it's a desirable rare watch is a different question, I guess. But
yeah. I also tried the bronze one on, which was a bit scary for me because that's a bit out of my comfort zone. But it was a really nice watch. Freya actually preferred that. Yeah, she really liked that. She said she liked it more because it was different to anything else in my collection. But I don't know. For me, I'm just the bracelet on that stainless steel is lovely. The way it tapers. The only downside with it is the end links on there.
Yeah,
they stick out really far. I just wish that's my only problem with it.
Right.
However,
they're like the male and link type, right?
That's right. Yeah, but it is a stunning watch, and I think quite good value for what it is, considering it's cost certified as well.
Yeah,
it was £2,700, and he kind of admitted to me that they would take money off. So
that could be quite reasonable, relatively speaking, at that point.
Yeah.
Is the bezel sapphire? It looks almost like it is. Like a...
No, it's ceramic.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it
was so shiny and looked almost like it was a layer of clear. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Just a cool watch, I think, and it's something I would consider for the price. I mean, I think alternative for the Tudor Black Blade 58 Blue, definitely.
Yeah, right. What's the size actually? The diameter?
42. It's a 42.
Okay, so a bit bigger, but
yeah, a bit bigger. But the lug to lug wasn't that bad at all. I mean, it was something I could definitely deal with. It didn't feel like Pelagus. It didn't feel like as big and as chunky as that.
Okay, cool.
But it was really, really cool. Jason, I did not go to Cribs Causeway. I went into Cabot Circus yesterday, so a little bit further away from where you were.
I don't know if you can hear some dog toys squeaking in the background. Hopefully not, but we'll see.
Also, as well, what I mentioned on the last chat as well was the 765. There you go. You can see it there for sale.
Oh man, I love that. I know it's not your favorite of the Breitling reissues, but I'm a big fan of the Breguet Type 20s, and because that looks similar, I like it.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. I just wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't choose
Right.
it. And it's not a horrible watch, is it? And again, everyone was saying when they released it that Breitling ripped off Breguet. It was actually there wasn't such a thing as ripped off. I think it was similar to those like the Dirty Dozen. There was like a tender put out where they wanted a type of design.
That was the specification, right? The type 20, I think, was the name of that, and different.
That's right. Yeah.
Them, right. Yeah.
From what I understand, the 765 came out in 1953, and the Type 20 was 1954.
Okay.
So, which is interesting.
There's no copying going. If anything, if you can even call it copying, they're both just making watches to similar specification, right?
Yeah.
So, interesting.
So, how did your watches fare up at the beach? Were they
good?
Okay?
I kept track. So I brought with me the Panerai 560, the Black Bay 58, the Planet Ocean, and the G-Shock. And the 58 probably got the most wear, followed by the Panerai and the Planet Ocean. The G-Shock I put on whenever I was going in the water or out to the beach, though. So, because you know me.
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was fun. But I will say by the end, I missed all these other watches. So getting home yesterday, I was really excited to see some of these. And I'm wearing the watch that I guess I missed the most, which
Good
was...
segue. Good
oh,
segue.
yeah, which was the Top Gun. I just love this thing. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll get into the full story of that maybe when we do this save the collection thing, but I won't go too far with that.
In fact, I've thought of a good question I'd like to ask you about that particular design, but we'll get onto that when we talk about the collection. So I'm wearing something similar along the lines to you, as no surprise.
Nice. Yes. It's been a little while actually since I've seen you wear that on video because you've been so focused on the honeymoon with the 60th anniversary Speedy, right?
Yeah. Out of all the watches, I would say that wears the best, definitely.
Yeah.
The size, the bracelet, and I think I've definitely kind of realised that steel bracelets, metal bracelets are my favourite, definitely. So no, watch medicine. I'm not left-handed. Don't forget, it probably flips the image round.
Yeah.
And also, you asked earlier if I've ever met Arthur in person. No, we have never met in person.
No.
Only digitally.
That's right. Actually, I mean, it's not a long story, really. I guess we might as well tell it, which was, I think it started after Stephanie and I went on the Scottish Watches podcast last August, I think. That was actually the last time we were in Florida. She and I recorded from there with them, with Rick and Ricky. And then you messaged me, I think, having listened to it, maybe? And
no, it's the other way around. You messaged me because you saw my pictures and saw how influential I was.
That's what it was. Oh, a little revisionist history going on here, I think. But then we just started chatting on Instagram DM and then WhatsApp. And when COVID started, that's the first time we video chatted, right?
Yeah.
And then just a couple months into that, started doing it live on Instagram. What we were doing already, anyway. Basically.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because of COVID, we probably would have never have done this.
I'm not sure we would have. Maybe eventually. Maybe we would have chatted, but not this show. I don't think. Right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's been kind of an outlet, isn't it? As I think I've said on other shows before, it's been an outlet to talk about it and just speak to like-minded people and right. Just stay a bit more engaged in a situation that's crazy.
Right.
It's literally crazy. So,
yeah, we just did a couple chats, just you and me, right? And then we were like, you know what? Maybe we'll just try this live thing. Because back when we did it, everyone was doing Instagram lives like 4 times a day. And we were just like one little voice within this massive sea of Instagram lives. And I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's funny, wasn't it, when it like that? It literally was. It just went crazy. I think, I don't know if Mr. No Date's on, but he was doing one.
Yeah.
and I thought his were really good actually. But I think as everyone's settled back into come out of lockdown, they've gone back to normal a little bit. Actually, Tell, who's on here at the moment, I think he was one of the first.
I think he was, yeah.
So he is an executive VIP member.
Do we have a club card or something?
He needs a little badge, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
A little badge that says something like, "I follow two idiots."
Since the first time they were idiots on video together.
Yeah. Cool. Shall we? Before we move on, have you got any more watch news your end? Anything?
Oh, I guess I'll just. Nothing's really come of it watch related yet, but Stephanie got a promotion at work, which was sort of a wild roller coaster of things going on. But she's settled on this promotion at work and is thinking about whether or not a watch might be the right way to celebrate that. But still debating if she's really what she would get, or if she's into anything enough to go for it. So we'll see. More to come.
Oh, yeah. I assume that we're not going to discuss what that is just yet.
No, not yet. I don't think.
Okay.
She's not sure, and I don't want to get people too excited. So we'll see.
It's a cool choice though, definitely, and I think it suits her personality as well. Definitely.
I think so. It's not a Cartier. I see Wish Wrist is guessing that. She's done the Cartier thing pretty thoroughly. So
yeah. I'm also on the understanding that she's being influenced by you and you're pushing it more than what she is.
I don't know if it's what you think. We'll catch up with that later.
You're returning the favor. She got you into it. So now
That's true. Yeah. Now I'm continuing my enabling role, right?
Exactly. I mean, G-Man, Swiss Made Obsession, DC Watches, Arrested Time, they know what you're like. You're a nightmare.
You told her the other day that I was bullying you, and I think she just ignored that in the chat that you had, right?
Yeah. I said that, and then it went quiet, and I never got a reply. So I was like, oh, okay, she's quite clearly on Arthur's side. As is everyone else on the chat.
She's really the puppet master in all this. I don't,
Yeah.
So Watch Medicine's made an interesting suggestion. As we get into our collection review, he said all the viewers should give an Olympic score, like on a card, out of 10. So you can try. We'll see if we can read the numbers. But why not?
That's quite interesting. Yeah. So at the moment, obviously, I don't know what the outcome's going to be. So if it's bad for me, Watch Medicine, you're banned. You're not allowed to come on here anymore.
So, I don't think you can ban someone from a live anyway, but
no, we'll just ignore him. He'll come in, but we'll just ignore him.
Okay, all right. So what we can do is, sure, you can do it by watch if you want, like whether you like it or not. But in the end, I think the funnest thing might be we'll set up a poll on Instagram stories and say who wins. It's completely a matter of taste, so it's really irrelevant. But why not?
Yeah. So apparently, I've got to put my wig on. The score will go straight up. Unfortunately, the wig isn't around at the moment. Maybe next time. But look, I'm already.
Are you combing it out so it'll be perfect for next time? Like styling it. Yeah, cool.
I'm conditioning it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I think you should. I think you should kick off.
So, first question is: should we go chronologically, or just in what order they're in the watch box? I mean, what do you think?
Oh crikey! This is typically you, isn't it? Like nice and organised. This is how we should do it. I've not really thought, but I've literally I've got the watches here, but I've taken pictures so you can see them a bit easier. So I just thought maybe you go first, then me, then you. And
sure. Okay. I'm gonna go chronologically as a way of arranging my thoughts here. So I just in our watch origin stories last week, I talked about how inheriting this watch from my brother was sort of one of the starts of it all. So my first watch, actually the light from the monitor is lighting it up quite nicely. It is a black dial. It's just got a blue AR coating. This is the Tag Heuer Aqua Racer Chrono Timer, which is an Annie Digi watch. it was my brother's. He bought it for himself in the last couple of years of his life, unfortunately. But he wanted a really nice watch, and he wasn't sort of a dressy guy. And this is what he picked. And it's one of the few things I inherited from him and really sort of kicked off a lot of my interest, and is a really special thing to me because it was his. So that's my first one. Again, I guess not really so much my taste. If you look across the collection, you wouldn't expect me to buy this, but it's a special watch to me because it was his choice and because it was his. So that's my first one.
So is that is stainless steel, isn't it?
It is, yep.
Yeah. Do you know what? I
like
actually really like that watch. It reminds me a little bit, obviously, of a aerospace, and there was like a Citizen Nighthawk that was similar to that, which G-Man's got one of those.
Cool.
I just think it's really cool and super useful, really.
It grew on me, and one thing I particularly like is sort of similar to an Explorer 2. The bezel has this like radial brushing pattern, and then it's actually really easy to grip because of these little nubs. But the thing that's not very practical is the nubs are polished, so of course they get scratched up like crazy.
Oh no!
I know.
You need to get Mr. Pro Detail who's joined. You need to get him to cover it in ceramic protection so nothing ever gets scratched.
Yeah. Oh, Watch Medicine's asked how many millimeters. Maybe we should say the size as we go. This is a 43, and it's pretty chunky. But yeah.
Do you think because of the size, that's why you don't wear it as much, or?
At first, especially, I mean, I didn't wear it that much because it was such to me at the time, especially such an expensive object, and I didn't want to scratch it up. But yeah, I think the size is part of that, and it's pretty slab-sided. You know, it's quite a chunky thing, really. Wears a bit like a Pelagos, actually, in terms of size, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I really like it, and I do think you should wear it more often. I just think it's cool.
I think so.
Definitely. And also, it's like, is that the Bond, same as the Bond NATO in the one where he wore the Seamaster 300? It's the same NATO, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't remember where I got the NATO itself, but I like it on that watch.
Yeah.
So
very
Watch
cool.
Medicine gives it a 5 out of 10, an 8 for the story, and a 3 for the watch. Fair enough.
I think you should. I think you should write these down because we're going to lose it.
Okay, hold on.
Have you got a pen and paper there?
Yeah. I've got a spreadsheet. I've got a spreadsheet, Dan. Why use pen and paper when you can?
Why did I even ask?
Yes. Okay. So
hang on a minute. Are we? Is Watch Medicine the judge here, or is it everyone in here?
I think it should be everyone. He's just the one that provided a score. So shout him out.
So everyone, if you could give a score, that's got to be a 10 for story, definitely. I think so. I'd give that a 10 for story, and I would give the watch. So we're going out of 10, aren't we?
I think so.
I would give it 7 or 8, definitely, because I think it's cool. Oh look, my sister's giving you 10 and 10 for everything.
Awesome.
I can see where this is going.
So hold on, we've got 8, 5, 10, 10. Sure, good enough.
Cool. Mr. Milgauss has given you a 10.
Oh, 10, 7. All right. Yeah. We'll try not to make this too laborious, but
no. Cool. Okay then. My iPad has just turned off. Let's get it to go back on. So I'm not going to pick them in any particular favourite order. I'm just going to pick whatever they were lined up in my watch box. So I'm going to go with the Mark 40 as the first pick, which you called a bit too jazzy and a bit too funky.
For me personally, that's all.
I really love this watch, but every now and again I have a bit of a. It's not a love-hate. It's the size. It's so small, so it's a 38 mil, but it wears even smaller than a 38. The lug to lug is so. I think it's a 45 lug to lug, so it's so small. But it is super useful with the date. So I wear this all the time for work because I'm forever signing paperwork up. So it is really, really useful. I saw this pretty much after I bought my Speedmaster Professional, as you kind of buy your first watch, you get a bit more into the hobby, don't you? So I started searching Speedmasters, and I saw one of these, and I thought, I remember thinking, whoa, that is really cool. I really like that. But I never kind of looked any further. I never bought it at the time, but it was a lot cheaper then than it was, which would have been 2011. So it was a lot cheaper back then. Of course, Hodinkee, the Mark.
Right.
Do they call it the Mark 10? Do they call it the Hodinkee Mark 10?
I think they was just Hodinkee 10th anniversary. Oh, Dan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. Hey, cool. We're good now.
So it has risen in value. There's not really much of a story behind this one. It literally is, I saw it, I liked it, I bought it. I suppose the story is it went wrong 4 times. And I had to send it back.
Reliability 0.
Well, no, it wasn't the watch's fault. It wasn't the watch's fault. It was the incompetence of Watchfinder. And in the end, after lots of kicking off, it got sent back to Amiga, and ever since then, it has been absolutely perfect. So, and it keeps fantastic time.
That's good. I'm glad it finally worked out. And
yeah.
You wear that a lot to work, right? That's sort of one of you treat it as one of your more like daily functional pieces, right?
Yeah, purely because of the chronograph function and the date function. It's very easy, and I genuinely have a use for a chronograph.
Yeah, right. Cool.
So, yeah.
So I saw a 6, an 8.5, a 6, a 10.
Yeah, see, I'm not starting off to a very good start here, am I? I didn't think so.
I actually didn't.
So I remember Mr. Milgauss just said, Watchfinder screwed me over on an old Seamaster GMT2. We spoke about that at the time. I had problems with it, so I do remember that, definitely. Again, for another time, we need to chat about watch servicing, don't we? And the kind of experiences we've had, which we'll do at some point.
Right.
And tells he would never use Watchfinder. From the experience I had, I wouldn't either. Not now, anyway.
Yeah, right. Okay, let me just do a quick averaging and see who won that round.
The tells can't get excited over Amiga. Do you mean Amiga in general, or that particular watch, the Mark 40? It's not something for you. I mean, I think you've got gorilla wrists, so for you it'd be tiny.
So Dan, you got an average of 7.5, and I got an average of 8.5. I think I used the sympathy vote with the story though. So
yeah, I'm happy with that. That's fine. Cool.
You'd feel bad beating me on that one, I think.
I would.
All right.
I wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm going to continue in chronological order. The next watch in my collection was a gift from Stephanie for our wedding. And I finally got it on a strap that I love as well. This is the Frederic Constant Classics manufacture. This is their first in-house movement, which they did in sort of a very traditional looking dress watch. Very sort of breguet type styling on the hands, Roman numerals. And there's actually like I believe it's actually stamped, but there's sort of a guilloche pattern to texture to the center of the dial. It is big for a dress watch. I think it's a 42 actually, and kind of thick. But I guess that's what they got going for their first in-house movement here.
Yeah.
Which they've done a bunch of derivatives from since. Finally, I've got it on I think it's actually real Croc or Gator. I just don't remember which. From Deluxe straps in Singapore, which I like a lot. So there you go. That was my wedding day watch too. So if I ever need to really dress up, this is what I go for.
That's got a nice open case back on that as well, isn't it?
It does, yeah, it does. Let me see if I can get it off of here. So I'm not much of a dress watch guy. I don't wear them that often, which is probably why I don't have many in my collection. But here's the, yeah. Quite.
That rotor's really pretty.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just gold plated at this price point, but it is pretty. And they've done a nice job bluing the screws and doing some cool finishing and stuff. Some perlage.
So when you got it, had you expected that at all? Or was it a complete surprise?
Complete surprise. I had no idea what was even coming. You know, like we agreed we'd get each other wedding gifts, but I had no idea what it would be whatsoever. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
And I never even, at that point, I never even thought that I would own, you know, a fancy watch other than this, right? So that was real. Stephanie had done a lot of research, and that was fun. Fun surprise.
And then Pandora box opened.
Yes, exactly. Off to the races from there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a cool piece, Arthur.
Thanks. So pop your scores in the chat. Just if you can give, I know people are doing story and watch, just try to average it to one score to save me some typing, if that's cool.
Yeah, I think that just as a whole, give it a combined score. So, Pro Detail's giving you a 10, look. He's feeling
Thank you.
Today.
Yeah.
Cool.
But in the interest of time, why don't you go on, and if people keep tossing their scores down there, I'll keep track.
Cool. Next choice is probably between this and the Navitimer. I would probably say this is my ultimate watch. It'll always be my ultimate watch. Best looking watch ever made. No arguments. You know, fight amongst yourselves. To me, best thing ever. It's what started it for me, which is the Professional.
Of course.
Speedmaster Professional, which I don't need to tell you the story. You all know. You know, on the Fratello article, I go in to explain about it. I wear this a lot for work as well. Not so much because of the date function, but I do wear it, and the Uncle Seiko bracelet just makes it so nice to wear. Instantly gives it that vintage feel. And let's go for that. There you go, bracelet droop.
Nice.
So yeah,
it's a great looking bracelet.
Yeah.
People have given you 12 out of 10, Dan. I don't think that's allowed. I'm translating to tens, to be fair.
By people, do you mean DC watches?
Oh, I think John gave you an 11 as well. So.
Yeah. Well, he, great minds think alike, obviously.
I think we might as well just not collect scores on this one because it wasn't chronologically next in the order. But here you go. I mean, your story may be a little bit better for this one, but when I was considering my 30th birthday watch, this is the one I passed up, and I ended up getting it a few years later for my first job as a supervisor. So there you go.
Has there ever been anything you've seen, motorbikes, cars, watches, the kind of things that we enjoy and lust after? Is there anything you've ever seen for the first time and instantly when you saw it, you knew straight away that that's one of the best things you've ever seen? Have you ever had anything that compelling in you?
The Planet Ocean did actually stick in my head from the first time I saw it on a billboard in like 2006 until I bought one in 2015. I don't know that it was like I have to have it, but it did stick in my head. Also, the Porsche Cayman is one of my all-time favorites. From when it came out in 2006 to when I got one in 2017 finally.
Yeah. Also, Tel's just said the 806 re-edition. We'll get onto that, definitely. Yeah. But obviously that's his version.
Karan's given me a 15 out of 10 on the Speedy that he gave you a lower score for. Here, I think I would like to propose that the Speedies just sort of like tie and nullify each other, if that's cool.
Just the Speedmaster Professionals? Or
yes.
Speedmaster? Because if it's all Speedmasters, I'm out.
To be fair, I think it can only be the Pro, since we have the same watch, right? I mean, yours is one generation earlier, but that's a whole other show too.
Okay, here's something interesting then for everyone in here. Is anyone put off by the Speedmaster because they're possibly a little bit like me and what did you call me? A contrarian?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because obviously it's marketed to death. There's so much about it. And I mean, I love the story behind it. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing. But when I first saw it, I knew nothing about it. The aesthetics for it, for me, were like, yeah, that's it, done. That's what I want. So I would be interested to hear if anyone on here is put off by the Speedmaster because of that.
I wonder, Dan, if when you had first seen the Speedy, if you knew it was a popular watch, would you have been like, oh no, I can't possibly?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. That's difficult.
It didn't happen that way, so.
No, it didn't happen. I don't think so. I don't know, because it's hyped, but it's available, isn't it?
Right.
It's hyped because of the story. Rolex is hyped because of a name, isn't it? I mean, there are some cool stories behind it,
yeah. But
it's more because it's human nature. We can't have something when we walk into a store. We can't have it. You know, there's got to be an element of, oh, I want it because of that reason.
Right. Hold on that note, I have something to remind you of.
Oh God. Yeah, Karan would be laughing now.
Actually, I think that you and I, in particular, working in aerospace, have maybe a more genuine connection to the Speedy story than some people might, or a more heartfelt connection. And similarly, I feel that towards the Pepsi because of the Pan Am connection, and the test aircraft I used to fly on was an old Pan Am aircraft as well. So anyway, tangent, but yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that totally is that. It totally is that, definitely.
Right.
Cool. Shall we move on to your next choice?
Well, I think so. My Speedy sort of went up after your Speedy, so I think it's your turn actually. You want to go again?
Yes. Okay, so next up we have, surprise, Speedmaster again. So the Speedmaster 57, or the 60th anniversary Speedmaster. Oh, this watch is amazing. It really, and I remember when these came out, I remember thinking to myself, the flat link bracelet is the perfect size. It looks absolutely amazing. And I remember thinking, I've already got a Speedmaster. I shouldn't buy another one. And then it's always been on the back of my mind. And I thought to myself, I should have bought one. Unfortunately, I contacted Omega. They worked their magic and got me one recently. So, and I must say, yeah, I don't regret it one bit. It is amazing.
It's so good. And it's different enough, absolutely, that and super special. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what does Dan get? Everybody pop the scores down below. I think you're going to get a lot of 10s for that one, honestly.
It definitely it seems to be very popular. You get a lot of questions and people talking and commenting on it. So yeah, it is cool. Yeah. The comments in.
I see a comment. I loved it till Dan got it.
So there's a conspiracy going on here. I think that is arrested time hijacking someone else's account, his wife's account.
I think that's true.
I don't believe she'd be that nasty.
I think you're right.
Oh, thank you, Pro Detail. Gives me a 10, and then he gives the owner a 0. What a horrible boy.
All right, let's see what you get there. So I think that will be our highest scoring watch so far. Yeah, the average is like 9.4. So that is well done, Dan. Good choice.
Apparently, she's nastier than him. Crikey.
That also sounds like something that he would type, doesn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm not sold here. I
Yeah.
think that account's been hijacked.
Minus
So
30.
Crown's been nice. Minus 35. Thank you.
Okay, I'll keep going then. Chronologically.
Yeah.
So the Speedmaster was out of order for my timeline, but for my 30th birthday, decided to buy my one watch to keep me happy forever. Turned out that worked out great. But what I did pick, and I told the story last time actually, so I won't belabor it, is the second generation Planet Ocean. This is the 45.5 millimeter. I bought it on the bracelet, but here it's on the OEM clasp and rubber. This I wore every day for, gosh, about 3 years until I got the Speedmaster. So this was truly daily, and I love it. There you go.
Although, if you could go back in time, you would choose a different watch.
I think I might get the 42 if I could go back in time. I tried both on, and it's a funny thing about Planet Oceans. They look smaller on the wrist than the measurements would tell you. And I was so used to this 43, right? Yeah, a little tricky.
Well, I think at that particular time, the American was in you, and bigger is better.
A little bit. I mean, to be fair, I was early on in buying watches, and I was like, these cost the same price, and this one is more metal. Maybe flawed logic. I totally agree that's flawed logic by today's, sort of approach.
Definitely. I mean, you wouldn't think like that now, but when you're getting into the hobby, maybe that was something that would come into it, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And
so I understand that.
Got a question from Watch Method. How thick is the watch? I believe it's 17 millimeters. It's a chunky one. A couple things help that, though. The case back kind of sinks into your wrist, and in typical Omega fashion, there's this nice sort of steps and bevels and things, so it doesn't actually feel as thick as that, which is cool.
Yeah. So you're getting some good scores here. Watch Medicine's only given you a 7, though.
Yeah.
He's always on your side normally.
Normally. I must not have paid him enough before the show.
Oh, so Mr. Milgauss is back. He vanished for a while. He obviously got bored, realised that his life is not really that interesting, and came back again. Thank you.
So that comes out to an average of 8.8. So that's our second highest scoring watch so far.
Okay, cool. Okay, next up then is the Tiffany CT60 solid gold 40 mil. The lug to lug is quite large on this. It does stick out a little bit too far than it really needs to. Annual pointer date, so it does skip the days that it needs to on the right months. I purchased this because my sister works at Tiffany, and it was kind of the connection between Tiffany & Co. and her. Also, the price was stunningly good for what it's actually worth. And I don't wear it all that much because obviously it's more dress orientated. But when I do wear it, I really enjoy it. Also, it's funny, isn't it, how if something's got Tiffany & Co. on the dial, like a Patek or a Rolex, the prices are absolutely mental. But as soon as you go Tiffany & Co. on a Tiffany & Co., there's not really interest there because there isn't that iconic design, is there? However, I would argue with this, it is an iconic design. I mean, it's got that 1940s pointed date look to it. There was a kind of a trend at that time with that sort of design. Originally based off a Movado, and this watch, or the original watch, is in A Man and His Watch book. So if you want to see the original, have a look in there.
It was owned by a U.S. president. I actually don't remember which one now.
Franklin Roosevelt.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Nice. You are a secret American. You know your history better.
So I love it because it's completely different to anything else I would own. It obviously there was an element of it's a solid gold watch. It does look lovely. It's a good price. I should buy it. The longer I've owned it, the more I've enjoyed it and realised how much I really do love it. So yeah,
I love the rose gold and the color of the Arabic numerals. Is it sort of a sandy color? It looks like it matches really nicely with the gold.
Yeah, so it's applied gold paint on the
okay.
Arabic numerals. So I mean, when these came out, these were £18,000, which is,
my God.
And I know we've spoken about it before. The choices you could have at £18,000 is quite a lot, isn't it? You could have fun with that sort of money. You could buy one watch, you could buy a few. So, you know, they've obviously haven't done well because of that. You know, it's not a COSC movement, it's an ETA base. So the watch enthusiast is probably going to go somewhere else, aren't they?
Probably, but I think for the price you got it at, it's a really, really interesting piece with roots and history, and for your collection, I think fits in really cool as a dressier thing, you know?
Yeah. So, well, okay, it's just no secret. Yeah, I purchased that for £2,000. So that is a considerable drop.
Yeah. And
yeah,
at that
I wish I got it for free. I wish I got it for free.
So I've been keeping track of the scores, and I don't know how to average. Tanoki's gave you 1 eggplant, and I don't know how to do it.
Thanks, Jason. That's really helpful.
Okay, I'm averaging it. This one was a little more controversial, I think. You know, some people loved it, some people not as big a fan. It came out to a 6.8.
Yes, fair enough. I mean, everyone's, you know, they're all wrong, but that's fine.
Not everyone's cup of tea, but for those that it was their cup of tea, it was a good cup of tea.
Yeah.
Cool. My next one, going chronological order, was the Nomos Club Campus Noct, the gray dial, 38 millimeters, manual wind, in-house movement, nice and slim. Recently put it on this Staub German-made mesh bracelet, which I think is pretty cool and suits it. This one was a fun surprise. Stephanie was on a business trip to Germany and picked up his and hers ones on a discount from a Vempe store in Frankfurt. So it's kind of cool to have a Nomos that she bought in Germany. Again, complete surprise. No particular occasion, which was kind of fun, actually. So
that's interesting you say that. Actually, when I go into watch shops and I ask about watches, or I've bought watches, people will say, "What's the occasion?" I'm like, "Does there have to be an occasion?"
I want a watch. That's what the occasion is.
I want that one.
The occasion is I saved up enough money. That's often the case, right?
Exactly. Yeah, but it looks really cool on that mesh bracelet. Definitely.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, and they're really comfortable, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because it's so slim as well. The watch is comfortable in general, and the mesh is nice too. I think this one's going to be a bit more of a love or hate. It looks like we've got 9, 9, 8, 7.5, 5. Any other scores? And then we'll move along here.
Cool. So just a time check, Arthur. How are we getting on for time? Because we need to wrap this up within an hour, don't we?
That's true. How many do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 left still. We're halfway.
Okay, right. We'll probably need to wrap through a little bit quicker. So while you're getting the scores for your Nomos, then I will go for the next choice, which is my Longines Conquest Heritage. I bought this as I was leaving on my honeymoon. I just saw it, thought it was really, really nice. I hadn't had a dress watch at that particular time, and I really wanted one. It was a really good price, obviously tax-free. I think it was £600 in the high street. It was about £900. I don't wear it all that often, which is a bit sad, really. But again, I don't I don't wear formal attire that often because of my type
Right.
of job. I have put it on a mesh bracelet and worn it to work, but I'm not sure it feels quite right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a beautiful watch, stunning.
I love the markers on that, and the date placement's super cool and unique.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, this is Mr. Coos has given me a 3. He's not happy with that.
And he's already voting for the 10 for Panerai. It's not even shown up yet, and he's already voting for it. I'm sorry, Dan. This is just not stacked in your favor, is it?
So, Jason's given me a 9. Thank you very much, Jason. Watch Medicine's given me a 7. Instablane's given me a 7.5. Karan, I don't think he's here anymore. No, he hasn't commented.
Do you see a comment? I see a comment. It says 2.5.
No, it doesn't. It says 25.
Oh, I see.
No decimal there.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, next.
All right. Let's see. What was it next? Okay. My next one was the Autodromo Group B Series 2. Series 2 meaning it came on the bracelet. This is a fun one inspired by 1980s Group B rally cars. Particularly the tachometer in a Lancia Delta Integrale looks very similar with this kind of orange-yellow color. Yeah. It's sort of a mix of titanium and steel, and sort of one of my only watches with that kind of interesting, funky 70s, 80s case shape. I wear it mostly on a NATO now, and I wear it to like driving events and stuff because it's kind of got that automotive theme. That's my only micro brand watch too, actually. Yeah.
The dial just reminds me of so many 80s cars.
It does, yeah.
It is cool. It is cool. And the case shape is interesting as well. Karan's being a bit mean. 4.75. Why don't people just give whole numbers here? Come on.
He doesn't sell it, so that's why. That's probably
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I know that one is probably one of my more divisive ones. You either love it or you hate it. I actually really like it because it looks a lot also like the tachometer in our 90s 911 too. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so next up is mine. Was my grandfather's Amiga Constellation tuning fork, originally a Bolivar movement. Makes a little humming noise. It's absolutely amazing. It is actually solid gold. I thought it was plated, but it's not. It's solid gold. It is.
Wow.
It is scratched to hell. It's got cracked on one of the lugs. He really, really used this watch to its full purpose. Now, obviously, you'd probably argue that's more of a dress watch, but he didn't. He wore it every day. Well, he didn't wear it every day, but he wore it for most of his working career. Bashed it around, really used it. It was his own one decent watch, and it is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I love it.
And with the story, if you haven't read it, head over to Fratello and check that out. I think that one deserves a 10. And in fact, John's made it hard for me to type 10.538106356839.
It just has to be awkward, doesn't it? It just has to be awkward.
Yeah.
No, it's cool, isn't it? I think we've mentioned this before. To me, what blows my mind with these sorts of watches and with your brothers as well is, these were those people. These wore these, they wore them every day to what they did, through their career. And the fact now it's on your wrist and experiencing kind of your career and what you're doing, right. And then that's gonna move on to someone else. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? That is amazing. Yeah. It's not. There's nothing else like it, other than maybe cars. But I think cars will have their day, with the way things are going. So yeah.
Right. Good one. Okay, that was really high scoring. Actually, it tied your Speedy 60th anniversary for our highest. So
cool. I'm not going to argue with that because I would agree.
All right. Okay, my next one. It's the Tudor Black Bay 58 in chronological order. I think I got that right. Yeah. everybody knows everything about this watch already, pretty much. 39 millimeters, slim, nice, vintage styling. One of my favorites, and probably my most worn watch, even amongst all the rest of them. So, yeah. So there you go.
It's such a cool watch. It's just, it really is kind of perfect, isn't it? For every day, the sizing. It's that sweet spot for kind of everyone. I think everyone could get away with it. Smaller wrist, bigger wrist. It's got the vintage looks. Yeah, it's cool. And the price for what it is as well is pretty awesome. So I think this is going to be quite high.
Yeah, I think so. If anything, I think with the release of the blue, I think that watch started to get a little bit of backlash in sort of enthusiast world, because it's just like, oh, what's the brand? It's a Tudor. Because people are just tired of hearing about it. It's so good, but it gets talked about so much.
So for my sister who's asked the question, it's a Tudor, which is the sister brand to Rolex. It was originally seemed to be, it was more of a affordable man's Rolex, wasn't it?
Right.
However, I think nowadays they are more affordable, but they've got their own kind of niche as well, and they're just different.
They tend to be a little bit more stylistically adventurous than Rolex at this point as well, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So that was
cool.
It looks like that slotted in like second highest watch so far, but pretty closely tied with the Planet Ocean, interestingly. Very, very different, but yeah.
Cool. Okay, next up is the Fears Redcliffe Streamline. I really, really like Fears watches as a micro brand. I think Nicholas, the guy that runs it, is a really cool guy. His designs are a little bit on the dressy side for me. This one I felt was the one that was a bit more tall watch like and could be used as wearing to work for what I do. It's linked with Bristol, and myself and Freya absolutely love Bristol, so it's got that kind of that cool element to it. He actually met us in Bristol and gave us a full personal tour of where they were all made. I spoke about it on our last episode, and just a really cool brand, and I hope to see them expanding and going further. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think they're cool. I particularly like that blue dial one they did with sort of cushiony case, but they're starting to get more expensive as they're doing better things, which makes sense, I guess, right? The only thing that bothers me about sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on. Sorry, carry on.
I was gonna say the only thing that bothers me about that watch is the date window and how it's squashed together with the 3. That's
okay.
It just gets me a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've had someone else say that actually. It's just a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I can understand that. But no, I think it's cool.
It doesn't ruin it. Not at all. No.
Cool.
Okay, so that averaged out to about a 7 for that one.
Okay.
All right. My next one, chronological order, was the Top Gun, which I got. Actually, I think I might have called Karan for this like January 1st or 2nd of this year, after hunting one down for a bit and trying to make sure it's the right thing for me. This is an IWC Top Gun chronograph. For those that don't know, it's 44 millimeters. It's made of ceramic, the case, with titanium pushers, crown, and case back. So I wanted a pilot style watch for a long time coming, and I didn't know I was going to go big for something like this, but I love it, and I really missed it when I was on vacation. So.
And Karan, you should give me a high score on the Navitimer because I enabled him. So I financed your bonus. So I practically paid you because he bought that watch. All because of me.
I don't know if you deserve that much credit. We'll see.
But yeah, no, it's cool. So what I wanted to ask you is, do you think you are attracted to Flieger watches?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I really love them, and I think IWC just. I know some people look at what IWC does and they say, "Oh, you could get a similar watch for so much less money." No one gets everything right on the Flaggers like IWC does, particularly the proportion of the hands. I just love.
What do you think of is it the Laco Flieger watches? Do you
Those are
like those?
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are probably, I think, for the money, you could argue, it's a better value, and I think they come very close on how they execute it, and they've got the history too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. It's cool. Unfortunately for me, it's a little bit too big, and I have tried one on. I've not tried the Top Gun. I've tried the blue dialed one, which is the same case, I think. Lovely, but
in steel, it's 1 millimeter smaller, weirdly.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
IWC does that with ceramics. They make them a little bit larger, and I think it's because the black kind of has a visual shrinking effect.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, cool. Next up then, for me, Rolex Submariner. This I bought after the Speedmaster, went on a bit of a hunt for it. I got it fairly easily. I got this watch because of the Speedmaster, really. The sales assistant at the time saw me wearing the Speedmaster, asked me about it, so I went into my full story mode like I do. And they said they could see that I was genuinely interested in Submariners. I wanted it because of Roger Moore. Again, my grandfather loved Roger Moore as Bond. And it kind of just stuck in my memory. So that's why I bought the Submariner.
You can't argue with it. It's so good, especially the no date. I love that you picked the no date. I think that's great.
Yeah, I just wanted that clean look. I don't really like the Cyclops. It's not for me. I feel like this would be very, very close to your Black Bay in score.
Yeah, I think it's going to come out really close.
And definitely, the bracelet on this is the best bracelet I've ever experienced. It is so nice to fit. And I've mentioned it before, the glide lock on it is just so convenient. Like, when your wrist swells, you can adjust it a little bit. The Speedy 57 has got it, but the range is so small in comparison to this. Obviously, this is for wearing over a diving suit, which most people probably wouldn't do nowadays. They'd have a diving computer. But it's really cool. Yeah, I go in ups and downs with it, mainly because of the brand, not because of the watch. But that maybe is a topic for another day.
Yeah,
maybe a bit controversial with some people.
All right, so you've just told us about your Submariner, and I've entered in the scores. It comes out to 8.775, and the Black Bay 58 got 8.85. And there's one person who really skewed the scores there, and that was Arrested Time, who gave it a 4. If he had just not voted, it would have won. But yeah,
Well, you know what he's like. He's the awkward person, isn't he? And just to quickly answer a question that Max asked me, in his new Explorer, which is stunning, he said he could see the underside of the reflection of the hands on the dial, and you can in this as well. So the dials on these are so black.
Yeah.
They are difficult. I find it very difficult to photograph. Swiss Made Obsession, look, he's here. He's voting 10.
I'm just correct. I've just adjusted it for you. Okay, fine.
I give Dan $1 million for his whole collection because he's great. Oh, thank you, man. See?
I did put in his 10, though. I did put in his 10, which just gives the edge to the sub. 8.88 versus 8.85 for the 58. Whew. And I do really wish that the 58 had a bracelet adjustment or clasp adjustment. That's it's sort of holding it back a bit there in comfort.
Do you think it's slightly ahead because it's more attainable? Well, it's I mean, it's not totally attainable, is it? But it is more attainable than the Submariner, I would probably say. It's cheaper. It's a lot for the money.
Yeah.
You know, and with the way that Rolex prices are nowadays, the stupid, crazy prices that they are. Maybe that's why it's ahead.
Maybe.
Or it could be because no one likes me.
But just remember,
I'm going to go and have a cry.
Just remember, nothing matters but the overall collection score. So let's just keep going with that, all right?
Right, okay. Sam's just joined. Hello, Sam. Hope you're doing well.
So you just did the sub. I'm going chronologically. I just done the Top Gun. So the next one is my first lockdown watch, and my only watch I bought used in this box, actually. This is the Panerai PAM 560 with the 8-day in-house movement. This is the base dial, and it is one of the earlier ones with the sandwich dial. I don't know if you can see it, and you probably can't in this perspective. But these super simple Panerais are my favorites. And this was my first Panerai, and I love it. So there you go. Get ready for the controversial scores here. I think we're going to get like -1,000 to +1,000,000, but
you're just going to make the scores up here to win.
I'm being honest, I swear. Let's see. Oh, look at these scores. 10, 9, 9.
Yeah, it was always going to go that way, wasn't it?
7.
Why do people like Panerai so much? Come on. Do you know what? I've just opened my keyboard to give you a 0 because I wanted to come to weigh in on the voting, and now I can't close my keyboard, so I can't see me at all. So I don't know how do it won't bloody close.
Max, you gave it a 6. Disowned. Yeah, I'm kicking you out of the WhatsApp chat group we have. Goodbye forever. Watch Medicine. We like the Panerai because Dan dislikes it. That's exactly. Maybe I'm a contrarian. Koos, 10. Yes, my man Koos. Polly, oh man.
Yeah, he's not.
I'm gonna write to Instagram requesting the block feature from future lives. Okay, yeah. Let's see how.
I don't hate them. Like I say, hate for any watch is like, why would you hate any watch? But
just don't buy it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not, the design is just not for me.
Comes out to a 7.75. So yeah, I see the controversy there. That's okay. No worries. All right, you're up next.
So next up is, now I can't see my screen at all. I can only see you, so I have no idea what's going to go on here. Can you see that?
Yes, that's working.
Yeah, so that's a Seiko 5 SNX 76X, I think it's the references for it. I don't wear it very often, but it's really cool. I really like it, like the dial, like the colours. I bought it because I liked it, and that's pretty much about that. So I'm probably going to get a low score because that's a pretty crap story. And I've got
selling it.
I've got a cheap eBay strap on it as well. The strap cost £2.
It looks good though.
Yeah, and it's really nice. It's not too rigid. Feels quite good quality. So yeah.
Cool.
All right. Next.
Let's see what these scores come in. We've got a 5, a 4, a 7, a 6. Oh, Stephanie's just joined. Hello. Karan does not like it.
Karan doesn't like anything.
Sam and her watch box is saving you there. Can't go wrong with it.
Sam would like it because she's got a soft spot for Seiko, so she's given it an 8. My sister, she's given it a 7, so she's been quite kind. It's unusual. I thought she'd be giving me zeros on everything.
G's said 5. Sorry.
See, I thought the Seiko here would be a bit more of an underdog, and people would be like, "Yeah, that's good," but no, I thought wrong.
The average is a 5.7. Okay, you know, eh, eh.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well.
I'm on to my
Next.
last one, which was my most recent purchase because I'm doing chronological, and a few people know what this is already. Another watch I really missed when I was down on vacation in Florida, and that is the Grand Seiko Spring from the US Seasons collection. This is, yeah, Karan, here it is, the Spring GS. This is titanium case and bracelet and a light pink textured dial, spring drive movement, and one of my dressier pieces, but just so beautiful. We've got straight tens for a moment there.
Sam has got it in one. Grandma watch.
No. Explain
my
your
lovely.
Joke. Explain your joke.
My lovely. I explain my joke. So, particularly in the UK, I'm not sure about the US, but in the 1970s and 60s, it was a trend to have something on your ceiling called Artex. An Artex on your ceiling is like this swirly pattern, and it was always something your nan loved, along with her flowery curtains and horrible colours. And so the dial reminds me of my nan's ceiling, hence Grandma watch.
Brutal. I cannot unsee it, but for me, here I'm gonna try to raise the scores even higher by telling a story. For me, this watch, I live in Washington D.C., and D.C. received the gift of cherry blossom trees from Japan. A few, historically decades ago now, but end of March, early April, they bloom, and it makes me think of that beautiful time of year in the city whenever I wear that watch. So there you go.
Yeah. So you're getting some good comments here from a lot of people.
Yeah. And Watches with the Woman, very good point. I do like that. It's very sort of Japanese nature focused thing that they made this out of titanium to represent the lightness of those cherry blossom petals and flowers. That's really, really cool, sort of like symbolic stuff. Very grand.
And it's got to get a high score for the spring drive, definitely, hasn't it? Because that is revolutionary, really.
And that's what I love about it. It's like interesting movement, interesting material, beautiful finishing. It just does it checks a lot of boxes for me,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have any more? How are we doing? I think that was my
last one. So this is the one that Watch Medicine has been slagging me off for this whole chat. Apparently only old men like Breitlings. So it's the Navitimer. The very, very first time I saw this watch was actually the Panda version I saw first with the twin jets on. And one of Freya's co-workers had it. It was given to him by his dad. And Freya knew a photo of it and showed it to me when she came home. And again, like the Speedmaster, it was like, where have you been all my life? And ever since then, I've like just fallen in love with that particular design. But the modern Navitimers, not so much. They are nice. I mean, I know Swiss Major Sessions got one. He loves it, and that was his first watch into the kind of watch world. But I just wanted that more vintage look. And then when they came out with this, old watch, modern innards, I'm sold straight away. And I thought it was going to be sold out when it came out in the fashion of Omega, and when they bring their many limited editions out. I know not all of them sell quickly, but they do. A lot of them do sell quite quickly. So I did think, with it being such a low number as well, at 1,959, I thought there's no chance I'm going to get one of those. And I did. And they are still around, I think, and I have seen them. So they're obviously they don't do that well. And I understand it's a bit of a niche watch. It's quite complicated. It's quite a busy dial. And for people, that's just, not great. And I understand that. But of course, with me being an aircraft engineer, you being in the aircraft side of things,
right.
It literally is absolutely perfect.
I love it. I do love it. I would give you a 10. I'll put in a 10 for you from me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, let's give it an average. This is one of our best scoring ones, I think. Truly. Oh, checking.
Watch medicine. Why is it so crowded, that dial? Dan, son, let me show you how the bezel works to calculate speed. Person leaves. Thank you very much.
Dan, that's the highest scoring watch. So
Is
on
it?
a single watch basis, you've won.
Do you know what? I'm just surprised because I get the vibe, and I could be totally wrong, but reading the comments, reading all the articles and things online, people don't really like Breitling. It doesn't get a favourable, and I can understand it. I can understand it from the past, with the very big watches, and I'm not slating the big watches, but they just kind of put themselves into a bit more of a niche.
Right.
And I think that's why people.
True. I think people are still punishing them for an association that I think they're trying really hard to break, and they're not. It's not fair.
Yeah, I don't think so. And look back at their history and some of the watches that they have. Some of them are just so stunning. The vintage premiers, the vintage Navitimers,
the top times.
The top times. They are so stunning. And the sizing of the vintage pieces are amazing. They're great sizes. But they kind of maybe lost the way a little bit. I don't know. Went to that kind of macho man's brand with the big watch and
right.
Yeah. So that is maybe why, and like you say, they're still getting punished for that.
Right. Sorry, I'm paying attention. I'm just trying to.
I'm just waffling on how much I love it. So I like Karan. I like the Zorro. It's really nice, but for a top time, they made it too big. It's too big. 51 mil lug to lug. That's massive.
I have results, Dan. I have results. So what I did, just to make sure it was totally fair, is I just averaged the scores from our watches, just in case. I think we did the same number, but just in case,
Yeah.
Funny enough, the way the scoring works, if I sold my Autodromo, I'd be doing better. And I think if you threw the Seiko out the window, you'd also be doing better. But I guess that works out. So, drum roll. First of all, we are within 0.2 of each other.
Wow.
So people like both of our collections. They're both good numbers. You had 7.92 out of 10.
Okay, that's okay. I'm happy with that.
Your highest scoring watch being the Navitimer. Your lowest scoring watch being the Seiko.
Okay.
And you got the overall crown with the Navitimer, the highest scoring watch we looked at today. So 7.92 for Dan. Arthur, 8.
Oh, here we go.
1
Here we
0.
go. I'm not going to hear the end of this now.
Crowd goes wild.
I'm not going to hear the end of this now.
So on that note, I guess check us out next week. We'll be back with to be determined topic, and in the meantime, check out the Scottish Watches live channel on YouTube and their podcast and everything else. This video will be up there very soon. So
also check out the last Scottish Watches live Zoom cast, which was yours on that on Friday. Sam's first time on that, and the guy from Haraj at Landon from Haraj. That was quite cool. They're doing something completely different to anyone else, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. They're tourbillon.
So and like I said, if anyone wants us to look at their collection. And obviously, you know, if they want us to just talk about it, we're not the type of people to slag off what you have. You know, we're just genuinely interested in what people have and we enjoy. Apart from Panerai, no, just kidding. Send us either me or Arthur pictures of your collection. No dodgy pictures though. We don't want those. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, so yeah, Scottish Watches Live has been fun because they're putting our show up there. Usually these Sunday episodes go up Monday or Tuesday, but then they're doing, as Dan mentioned, these Zoom lives on straight to YouTube on Fridays, and they've got a special guest coming up this Friday. I can't say who it is yet, but it should be good. So check it out. It's not Dan either. Neither he nor I are considered special in that context. So,
and again, finally, thank you everyone for continuing to watch us. It's really fun.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you soon. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.